Hi there, Dr. Karen here. Welcome to my people-pleasing workshop, Breaking Free from People-Pleasing. Hopefully you've downloaded your copy and printed it out. I like the colors. But we are here to talk about breaking free from people-pleasing so that we can open ourselves up to healthier relationships, stronger boundaries, kind of maintaining those boundaries. And this workbook is designed to help you understand where your people-pleasing tendencies might come from, and then being really honest and compassionate, and then coming up with a plan for some changes. We're not going to change everything overnight, but definitely opening up for some changes. So the first part in here is understanding your people-pleasing patterns. So I have a self-assessment, and you can go through that. It's a few things. I find it difficult to say no when people ask me for favors. I often feel responsible for other people's feelings. And if this is the case, that goes way back to childhood and your caregivers. I apologize even when I haven't done anything wrong. I avoid conflict at all costs. I feel guilty when I put my needs first. I often agree out loud, even though I disagree inside. I feel anxious when someone's upset with me. I take on extra work to avoid disappointing others. I rarely express my true feelings, and I feel drained after social interactions. So you can take that and then get your score if it's mild, moderate, or strong people-pleasing tendencies. And then the next part, we explore the root cause. When did you first notice your people-pleasing tendencies? Because it's likely, I'm pretty sure it's rooted back in childhood, in your relationship with your caregivers, and kind of how you got through life early on. So you wouldn't have noticed it then. It was an incredible survival instinct. But then when did you notice that it wasn't really working for you? That you were overextending yourself for other people and that it wasn't working for you? What messages did you receive when you were growing up about your own needs, your own emotions, expressing them? What did being good mean? How was conflict expressed in your family of origin? Were you comfortable with that? Were your caregivers comfortable, or was it kind of a taboo? What messages did you receive about setting boundaries? That it's okay for other people and not okay for you? And what are your fears of disappointing others? So we'll explore those questions. And then I created a daily people-pleasing log, which you can print out. And you can see we have the days, Monday through Friday. And then we have the situation, the initial response, your true feelings, physical sensations in your body, was your heart rate up? That's kind of how I feel, my blood pressure when I have anxiety, or if I have, I'm kind of triggered. What did you really want to happen? What did you do instead? And then what was the cost? Let's say, for example, I was, somebody made a request of my time, and I felt kind of, anxious. My heart rate was up, everything, a little bit dysregulated, and I wanted that feeling to go away. So I agreed to it. And then I missed something that was important to me. Maybe I missed a workout, maybe I missed a meeting. And then if I missed those things, then if I missed a workout or a couple workouts, then I'm not taking care of myself. And then my anxiety is going to go up, my stress is going to go up because I'm not managing, taking excellent care of myself. Then the next part, we have a boundary violation inventory. So you want to list situations where you commonly override your boundaries. You might have a weak spot for a family member, a spouse, your children, your parents, certain friends. There are people that you just cannot say no to. And so reflect on what need am I ignoring that I have? And what am I afraid that would happen if I set a boundary? I'm afraid I'll be abandoned. Nobody will help me. Nobody will be around me. And what would a healthy boundary look like? I'd love to help with that, but I have a lot going on this week, maybe next time. And then you can go through that with a few other situations. Okay. Now the third part is the developing new skills, the art of saying no. So you want to practice phrases that buy you time. I need to check my schedule before I commit. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for us. I have other commitments. I'm not able to take that on right away. So I want you to write down ways that feel authentic to you. And the next part is your values clarification. You should have my values worksheet values assessment. So, I mean, what's important to you? Health, time with family, peace, quality time. Could be, keeping my job, money, so that I can pay bills. Are your leisure pursuits, like I like to play tennis, that's important to me, but it can't be more important than family or making a living. And so once you have all your values lined up, like how did the way that you spend your time align? Like how are you saying this is important, this is the most important to me, but I'm not giving it any time. And then you can have a decision-making framework. Before saying yes to anything, ask yourself, do I have the time and energy for this? Am I doing this out of guilt or obligation? What would I advise a friend in this situation? People always tell me, what would you advise a client? And how will this impact my well-being? So part 4, we get into taking action, and we have a weekly challenge ladder, as you can see here. So we have, like, the first week, express one honest preference daily. Then you want to say no, practice saying no. Say no to one small request. Week 3, share a different opinion, don't disagree. Like, say, actually, this is how I think about that. And week 4, set one significant boundary. And then you want to journal and document your experiences in the workbook or a notebook that you have. What happened? How did you feel before, during, and after? And what did you learn? And then the next part that's super important with setting and maintaining boundaries is self-care planning. So list activities that cause you to feel energized. For me, that could be walking my dog, playing tennis, or being around, like listening to a motivational speaker, or being around people that are in my tribe that just make me feel good and motivated. What makes you feel peaceful? I'm in my backyard. I like sitting out here, with the lights and the wind chimes, and it's perfect weather today. What makes you feel confident? That could be getting ready in the morning, wearing an outfit that makes you feel good. What makes you feel connected? Spending time with friends and loved ones, spending time with family. And then you can create a weekly self-care schedule, go through all the days of the week. And then part 5 we have is maintaining progress. So you want to keep a success journal, record all your victories, no matter how small. It's like, write down the victory, how it felt, and what I learned. And then another really important part about breaking free from people pleasing and setting boundaries and self-care is having support. So list the people who support your recovery from people pleasing. And for relapse prevention, you want to identify your triggers. Like if I'm, in the 12-step world, they have HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So if I'm overtired, and I personally was overtired yesterday, we had a lot of things going on this week, and then I'm probably more vulnerable to, not setting a boundary or doing something that really doesn't align. What are the warning signs that you're going to violate a boundary or not? Or people please? What are some good coping strategies? So it could be skills development as far as practicing saying, oh, I need to check my schedule, but also skills development of deep breathing. If you're feeling dysregulated, doing calming activities, light a candle, listen to music, get outside, progressive muscle relaxation, the box breathing. I know I've talked about that, where you breathe in for 7 and then hold it for 7 and then out for 7 and hold it and then do that again. So that's in a nutshell our outline for breaking free from people pleasing. I'm so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to jump into our next call together where you can bring up, let us know what you tried, what worked for you, and you can get tips from other people in our group. I think it's so important to create community, especially when we're trying to make change or trying to learn about ourselves, and just to have the support. So thanks for being here. I'm so glad you're in my Breaking Free from People Pleasing workshop. I'll see you next time.